solve this problem. And before I start this one, our project has our project has many benefits. The first benefit is economical. Second one, proof in process. The last one is environmental. So today we are going to be presenting our final presentation on increasing the water tube boiler efficiency. So my team members, Majid, Latif, and Nasser Marri, and I would like to thank and welcome our technical advisor, Mr. Mazhar, and our supervisor, Mohammed Nashbet, and our communication instructor, Mr. Stephen.
The following topics will be discussed in our presentation. Our project overview will be given, including the project statement, the needs of our project, the existing and proposed solutions, and the objectives of and criteria of the project. In procedures and findings, we will discuss the major tasks of the project and their results. In conclusion, we'll compare these results with the objectives and criteria. Recommendations will be given for the future students who want to take this project furthermore. List of references of the figures and data we used in our presentation will be provided. After that, we would like to acknowledge the help of the instructors and engineers who help us to finish our project successfully. At the end of the presentation, we will be glad to answer your questions. This presentation will take 20 minutes. Before we discuss the problem in the boiler, we would like to explain the basic inner structure of the water tube boiler. As you can see, the water enters from the bottom of the boiler, passes through the pipes, and converted to steam. And the steam will be exit from the top of the boiler. The water will take the heat of the flue gases obtained from the fuel composition to be converted to steam. The flue gases will exit from the top of the boiler towards the stack. The goal of our project is to increase the boiler efficiency by installing the economizer on the exhaust of the flue gas of the water for the water tube boiler located at Qatar Gas Company utility section. The installation of the economizer will avoid the wastage of high temperature flue gases, will decrease the fuel consumption on the chamber, and will increase the boiler efficiency of the boiler. There is three major needs of our project. There is process needs, economical needs, and environment needs. Our process needs is to utilize the high temperature flue gas and to increase the boiler heating efficiency. Our economical needs is to decrease the fuel consumption on the boiler. Our environment need is to decrease the CO2 and NOx emissions to the environment.
As to solve any problem, there are many solutions to solve it, but some of the solutions cannot be used due to their disadvantages. Same for our problem. We have two main existing solutions, and now I'll explain what are the existing solutions and why we cannot use them. The two existing solutions are the flue gas recirculation fan and the air preheater. In the coming slides, I'll explain in detail their working and why they cannot be used. For the flue gas recirculation fan, as you can understand from the name, its main purpose, its main working principle is to recirculate the flue gas in order to preheat the combustion air. There are two main purposes of the FGR fan. The first purpose is to preheat the air which is going to the combustion chamber in order to increase the combustion efficiency, and the next purpose is to basically maintain the temperature in the combustion chamber in order to decrease the NOx emissions or to control the NOx emissions. The reason why we cannot use an FGR fan is because of the capacity issues. At current, the FGR fan is utilizing around 25% of the flue gas which is going to stack. This capacity cannot be increased any further. You may ask why didn't we add another FGR fan? The reason why we cannot add another FGR fan to increase the capacity is because because the air is being preheated to its set value and it cannot be preheated any further. This is a screenshot of the DCS panel of the water tube boiler at the intersection of Nasser gas. This shows the boiler. This represents the boiler basically. The yellow line represents the fuel going to the burners. This line represents the air which is going to the burner, and in the combustion basically happens in this furnace, in this area, and we know the product of combustion is basically flue gas. The flue gas exit from the boiler, and they exit from this line and go towards the stack. When they're going towards the stack, some of the flue gas, around 25%, are being sucked in by the FGR fan and added to the combustion air line. Our next existing solution is the air preheater. Firstly, as you can understand from the name of it, its main purpose is to preheat the air which is going to the combustion chamber. I will now explain the working of the air preheater. The fresh air enters from the bottom of the air preheater and travels through the pathway and leaves from the top of the air preheater. While the flue gas, on the other hand, enters from the top, passes inside the tubes and leaves from the bottom of the air preheater. As you can see here, there are some baffles installed on this pathway. This is basically to increase the turbulence. As we know, the turbulence increases the heat transfer, so that's the main purpose of the installation of the baffles. There are two main reasons why we cannot use the air preheater as our solution. The first one, which we got from our extensive second research, is due to the higher cost related with the air preheater, as the air preheater is much more expensive as compared to our proposed solution in both installing and maintaining in the long run. The next reason why we cannot use an air preheater is because the air is already being preheated by the FGR fan, so there's no need of preheating the air any further.
Okay, now let's move to a proposed solution. So the proposed solution was to install economizer. The economizer utilized the high temperature of the flue gases by preheating the boiler feed water. So the boiler feed water flows through the tubes, while the flue gases flows around the tubes. So the proposed solution fulfill the need of the problems. So our objective and criteria in this project, we have three main objectives. The first objective was to decrease the flue gas temperature, which is going to the stacks. So we needed to decrease the temperature of the flue gases by 150 degrees Celsius from 311 degrees Celsius. So the main objective was to decrease the fuel consumption. So our criteria to decrease it by 5%. And the last objective is to increase the boiler heating efficiency, and our criteria to increase it by approximately 10%. In this slide, we need to discuss the procedure and the findings used to reach our objective and criteria. So the procedure and the findings task or section will discuss the following task and the result obtained. And me and my colleagues will discuss each of the tasks in a few seconds.
Our first task was to basically design the boiler on HYSYS. The main reason why we needed to design the boiler on HYSYS, since we are increasing its efficiency and the fuel consumption, therefore it was very necessary to design the boiler on HYSYS. The boiler template was not available on HYSYS, so as we know, the boiler and the fire heater are closely related in the principle they work in. So a fire heater template was used instead, and also for the same reason, the specifications received from Qatar Gas of the boiler were used on the fire heater. The specifications of the boiler at 60% load were used to specify the fire heater, and in the data